distribution of the election materials.
Yes, sir.
To the place where the electoral officers will conduct the election. That time lag, some things could happen.
Yes, it could happen. You remember during an Anambra election, 1 year like that, when a particular governor was there, you remember that the names on the register,
yes,
people that are supposed to be in a particular place,
yes,
did not find
their names.
So by the time they got their names were eventually found in another area that is very far from their
and by the time they got there, election was over. And this one does not address it, doesn't address such issue. These are the issues, dark areas that I think the Electoral Act, maybe the next one, will actually look into. But by and large, it has really helped a little bit to curb the growing rigging activities of our politicians. But has it addressed multiple voting? Has it addressed underage voting?
No, it doesn't really. Unfortunately, it doesn't address such issue. But it addresses issues like what the presiding officer at the polling unit has the right to determine whether the election is valid or not. And again, you also give them 7 days for the INEC to actually cross-check and find out whether the presiding officer, signed under duress or not. You remember a particular senator was said to have gone to the electoral officer and said, sign and declare him winner. I don't know whether that was true, but then it happens. But this one has addressed it, that even if you are pointed gun and said sign, you should sign, don't worry. But within 7 days, you should clear out and tell us that, okay,
this was what happened.
This was what happened. And if that happened, then that polling unit will be cancelled.
Let us also look at this from we've talked about the late arrival of sensitive materials. We've talked about perhaps underage voting, overvoting and stuff like that.
Overvoting too.
Yes.
Overvoting too. It seeks to address overvoting too. The section of this amendment law says that the numbers of accredited voters, I mean,
the accredited voters
names will determine the votes. If, let's say, if the vote is 100 and the accredited voters are for that election is 50, that place is for than none. It could be cancelled. It should be cancelled. The presiding officer will cancel the polling unit of that area. INEC has the right to cancel it because the number of the accredited voters will now determine the results of the election at that polling unit. So it addresses that area too.
Does it address collation?
Collation.
Because we've been talking about electronic transmission.
Yes, it addressed electronic transmission, but there's a dark area there too. It says that the INEC has the right to use electronic means or technology to relay to count and to send information around. But it says that it should use its discretion. And that area is very, very dark because
very
vague. Because when you say use your discretion, it's not well spelled out, such that if my privilege, my right is infringed upon as a candidate or whatever, I won't be able to seek redress at the court because you can hide under the issue of discretion. These are the issues that the technical issues that need to be addressed along that path too.
Okay. Again, they talked about people living with disability.
Yes, sir.
How do you address this, that they can be assisted? Who does the assistance?
Actually, that's another area. They said about 27 million Nigerians are living with disability.
Yes.
That is significant amount of people, numbers of people in the country. And these ones can actually determine
where the pendulum swings.
Yes, at an election. So it's very freak too, because you are 6 people to vote. Are they truly disabled? Are we sure? Who tells us, who certified them disabled? How do we know that they are actually disabled? Because people could actually go out and bring all kinds of people. You know, Nigerians, they could bring people that are not actually disabled and make them feel disabled. How do you help them? And when you are helping them, you are explaining to them. Invariably, you are giving them a choice. You are telling them, you could actually tell them that, okay, this is what you should vote for. Because by the time you are telling them, it's not the INEC that will be telling them, because I don't see the manpower. I don't see it. I don't believe they have enough people to begin to tell.
So at that point in time, it can also be manipulated.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That okay, I'm trying to explain. I can tell you this is where you must print.
Yes.
Because somebody who is visually impaired cannot see.
Yes.
You can just put
his hand and use it to print a particular.
Because that's what the act says, that you can assist.
Yes, you can assist. That's the problem. See, I think what we should do is to actually applaud them for what they have done so far. And I think we should now begin to see what we can do subsequently. Because I don't think it's perfect yet. We are not there yet. But we are moving from where we used to be. That is it about this Electoral Act 2022.
One of the contentious issues that has equally been raised is the limit on spending. That now I want to be president, I can spend 5 billion naira on campaigns.
Yes.
I can spend 1 billion naira, I want to be governor. Where is this money coming from?
Actually,
is it that somebody who spends 5 billion?
Actually, they spend.
Are you saying the person who is really honest, he wants to? That's an investment, for goodness sake.
Yes, that's what I say. It's a Nigerian thing. But the issue is this: when you look at it from another perspective, that if you are putting 5 billion, is the 5 billion coming from you as a candidate? Don't forget, the party is involved. So, all that your friends are involved, and other well-wishers are involved. So they could actually help you to contribute money. In quote, I'm speaking on behalf of the supposed candidate. But on the other side, what are the parameters that are put in place to measure whether a candidate has spent beyond 5 billion naira, or will not spend or should not spend beyond 5 billion naira? These are the issues. In developed country like US, if you spend above that range, you will be in trouble. You'll be in trouble. In fact, they follow the money. As people are putting money in that joint account, they know it. They are monitoring how money comes into that campaign purse in US. But in Nigeria here, how do we know? Money laundering everywhere. How do we know how much is coming into campaign purse, campaign group? How much is coming? Where are this money coming from? These are the salient issues that this does not address. I think they should put the government. It's unfortunate that people that will rely upon that will put the measure in place are also indicted. That is the problem. Otherwise, we'll have said, okay, put certain structure in place or organization in place that will monitor how campaigns are being run. Because you need to know, okay, if you come to a place like this to do advert, how much does 5 minutes cost here? You look at all those things, you collate it. Okay, he has his own, he has campaign advert, he places adverts in Punch newspaper, The Nations, and this. You should be able to bring all of them together and say, okay, at least, he's been able to spend so amount. But in Nigeria, it's not like that. I think this is just paying lip service to.
But my concern is 5 billion naira.
Sir, 5 billion naira. You can't even. To be honest, sir, 5 billion is even small to even contest at the governorship level.
But this is for the presidency.
Yes. I'm saying as a president, you spend more than
5 billion.
You see all these people going from. Look at it. The campaign has not officially started now. Look at what is happening. Going for. You remember what happened in a particular state in Southwest? That people were fighting over the money. Where did they get the money from? It's part of the campaign. Somebody gave them money, and they began to scandal and begin to fight over that money.
So that's part of the campaign funds.
Yes, it's part of it. So you can't say you want to contest for the office of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and say, okay, I'm here marking 5 billion naira. It's too small, to be honest. Because of.
How do you expect them to find 5 billion naira, or for a governorship seat? 1 billion naira.
Haven't you noticed? It's part of the problem we are having. Now you are saying the young people should get involved. Yet the young people do not have this type of money. That's exactly the issue.
You are saying not too young to run.
Yes,
where can he get 5 billion?
He can't get 5 billion. He can't get it. He doesn't have it. Until we come to a starting stage when we say, okay, don't give me money. Tell me what you can do. Show me what you have done. What are your antecedents? What can you do? okay, let's go for the manifesto. Have you also noticed that the winners, I know at least of 2 presidents that this country have had who never appear at the presidential debate.
Yes.
Whereas in developed countries, who becomes the president has to be
is even determined
at the debate, presidential debate. But here, people who win election don't attend debate, presidential debate, or any type of debate in Nigeria. That's to tell you that they know how to work their way around all these things they gave us.
So in essence, with these campaign funds, you are saying technically the youths have been knocked out?
Yes, technically. Actually, if you look at the price of the nomination form, that runs into billions, runs into millions, you can't afford it.
25 million naira
yes,
to pick up the nomination form?
Yes, you can't afford it if you are not stupendously rich. You can't afford it. The money to even showcase your interest to the party that I want to. We are not talking about nomination form. We are talking about me coming to meet you as my political leader or leader of my party. Okay, I'm interested in this office, to come to you, to even come to you. The money that we spend will be in millions. To go around to tell the party chieftains that I'm interested. For every party chieftains, there is a bag of money for. Yes, a bag of money must go to a party chieftain. So you don't come to meet a party chieftain and say, I'm interested in vying for the office of the governor of the state, and when you dialogue with you are leaving,
you just live
like that.
You've had the result.
You've had there was in the last gubernatorial election in Oyo State here, a candidate that I know very well, billionaire, visited a first class Oba here, and the Oba was about leaving, and he said, I've come here to pay homage to you and to also make my intention known to you that I will be vying for the office of the governor of your state, and say, okay, I'm going out. But he said, okay, no problem, sir. But this is 6 million naira. You know what the king said? He said, oh yeah, come, sit down. I will pray now, and our ancestors will hear us. He said, I will pray for you now, and the ancestors will back you up. And the man went back inside the palace and sat down, and they discussed because of 6 million naira. 6 million. So imagine if he had not come with 6 million naira. You remember a particular president when he was vying for the second term was going about the dollars, giving dollars, distributing dollars. So it's a money bag politics in Nigeria. So you can't actually become anything big, anything worthwhile in Nigeria without spending worthwhile money.
So with all this pervasive poverty around, you can just give it out to the money bags that the person who can spend more.
Yes, it's always the highest bidder. That's the problem. That's the problem in the country. You see, in a particular state in the southwest, we have 2 flag bearers right now. Parallel conventions were held. We have 2 candidates emerged. Now, what do you suppose is responsible for this? When elderly people that are supposed to know how to put things together, unite, are fighting. It's for money. Money is the issue behind all this problem we're having, even intra-party issues. It's about money. So highest bidder, they don't tell you that they are selling the offices. Actually, it's being sold to the highest bidder. That is what is happening in Nigeria. If you remove money from Nigeria politics, then everybody can actually contest, and it will be given a level playing ground to everybody, and then things will begin to work as it ought to work.
The program is Fourth Estate, and on the program this evening we've been looking at the recently signed electoral bill by President Buhari, which has now become the electoral law, the Electoral Act 2022. And we're trying to look at a few issues in it and bring it to the knowledge of the common man, so that the common man can have an understanding of what the issues really are. Now, Mr. Ashiu, campaigns will now be within 150 days instead of the previous 90 days. Is it now spreading it further, and that people will now spend more, or what?
or is it that they can get to more people, or how?
Well, I don't know why they have to do that, but then we don't know the reason behind this, but we also find out that they also talked about the denomination. They give time. They seem to have changed the calendar altogether, which is also good. At least we can know that it's 150 days. I don't have a problem about that. I don't have a problem about that. The only issue is whether we are going to have a good election at the end of the day. Free and fair election at the end of the day. 120 days, I don't have a problem with that. 200 days, I don't have a problem with that.
So they can spend how many days in campaign?
Yes, but let's have a free and fair election. Credible election. That is all I'm after. At the end of the day, let it not be a waste or futility, exercise in futility. That is the problem. I don't have any problem with 150, 200 days. And actually, whether you give them 90 days or 150 days or 200 days, they will still spend that money. It's part of our political life. Money, big spender are usually the one that carry the day at the end of the day. You know all those conventions. You are old enough to be my father, so you've seen conventions. Highest bidder, some will be leading because he is giving $5,000. We've seen it here in a particular convention. They were giving each candidate, delegate was giving $5,000, and somebody came and was giving over and above. At the end of the day, a president emerged, and now the president is saying, okay, 5 billion, you can't spend beyond 5 billion. Have you forgotten? Is 5 billion enough to campaign, to feed, to take care of the delegates at your convention?
5 billion is not enough.
It's not. It's not
for the delegates.
Yes, for the delegate that will come from all over the country as a president. It's not enough. 5 billion. What will you do with 5 billion? What can you do with 5 billion in Nigerian politics?
We are not talking of million.
No, I know what I'm talking about, sir.
Billion.
Yes, billions. That's the truth.
It's not enough?
Yes, sir.
Just for delegates.
Okay, now look at it. At 2015 rather, they've stopped using money. You notice it was dollar.
Yes, they stopped using naira. Yes.
They stopped using naira rather. They started using dollars. And when you convert that dollars, $5,000 to Nigerian money, each delegate, that's huge money, sir. So to contest, to even vie to get the ticket within the party alone, 5 billion will have.
At least the delegates would have taken the 5 billion.
Yes.
Not to talk of going around the country,
telling the generals, you go to the generals, you go to the
traditional
rulers, chieftains, captains of industries. By the time you are gone, moving from northeast to southwest and to northeast, southeast and co. By the time you are come, you have spent a lot of money. Or what about the vehicles that your campaign team will be taking around? What about the adverts on TV? What about the adverts on radio? A lot of things are involved. So it can be. What about billboard? Let me also shock you. Some of these billboard, even here in Ibadan, I know of a billboard then in 2015, somewhere within Ibadan here. Somebody has gone there to make a candidate, a party candidate, I think APC then, has gone there to hire that billboard for campaign adverts. So he's been there. It was giving 500,000. I remember it was 500,000 then. He said, okay, the billing for 500,000. And a candidate came and said, 1 million naira. They gave it to the other guy. Billboard. So even in Ibadan, you see, at that 1 month, you'll be seeing billboard go for 500,000, 1 million naira. So if you now go around the whole of Nigeria like that, you see 5 billion naira is nothing. It's nothing to write home about. It's nothing. So the best thing I think we should do at this junction is to just forget about this issue.
About money,
campaign funds. Let's leave it about. They are not the issue right now.
It's not realistic.
Yeah, it's not realistic. They are not the pressing issue. The pressing issue is that give me free and fair election, credible election. That is what I want.
But how do you ensure free and credible election?
Well,
when all these issues are there, when it is winner takes all, the person who has money.
It is our problem. It's our problem. is the issue that we are actually facing right now. For us right now, we just need people who have done something great with their lives, who are truly leaders, genuine leaders, who are at least seems selfless.
Patriots.
Yes, these are people that we need for now. We don't need people who have eaten and hidden, who, like the former president said, if the EFCC have done their work, many of these people that are parading themselves as candidates
should be in jail.
Should be in jail by now. And he knows what he's saying. He knows what he's saying. Because when you falsify age, these are issues that should make you to go to jail.
But, okay, having gone there, it was the same person you are talking about who in 2007 said election is a do or die affair.
And that's the problem. But at that particular time,
yes,
he was a politician.
He was a politician.
Yes,
what
Nigerian. Now he says
he's a
statesman now. That he has stopped politicking for now. That he's doing everything in the interest of the nation. So he's not interested in politics again. He just wants to be a statesman that has the interest of this country at heart. He doesn't want to. So, and he's aged now. He wants to say the truth. He wants to say the truth. That's the way I see him. For now, let's forget about the money. It's not realistic. What we need right now is credible leader. Let's look for credible leader. I don't care where the leader is coming from now. That's the problem. Because people are saying it should be southwest, it should be southeast, it should be...
No, that's not even the issue. Now, another aspect that the Electoral Act looked at is when the candidate dies.
Yes.
Before the announcement of the election. And if he happens to be the winning candidate, that the person on whose ticket is running can just take over.
Actually, what the law says, this new Electoral Act says that it gives, before the election is over,
yes,
that it gives them 21 days for them to conduct
a primary.
Yes. And the candidate that emerge will now will be presumed to have contested in that election. That will take care of the issue that happened between Adwebo and Yaya and Fakeye and co like that. So that actually addresses it, and it's fine. But the problem I'm having about that is this: why don't you stop election? Because if you not stop election and somebody won, a party has won that election, what you are saying is that the primary is for somebody who will fill the office
and did not contest the election.
Did not contest the election. These are issues. But then they come up to say there's another argument about it that the candidate does not contest at the election, that it was the party. You understand? So these are the issues surrounding that.
The gray area.
Yeah, gray area. Because what it then means that I'm very sure that if I contest and I'm able to win, it will be a do or die at the primaries. Because I know anybody that wins that election will just become the governor automatically. Or the president. That's what it means. So it is not really good. It's not really good because
now they really do
or die. And another aspect of it will now be that we should actually have an incompetent leader. A leader that is chosen by few people in a party, forcing it upon the masses because he did not contest. Let's say A and being contested, and before the election was out, A died, and now C is brought to fill that place, and is the winner now. Now the question is if C had contested with B, would it have won that election? Sometimes he may not have won it because it may not just be people's choice. But now people do not have a right to choose their leader at the end of the day because the person they vote for died, and the party now enforce somebody on the masses. These are gray areas where we need to really look into.
Again, the Electoral Act says it will address the acrimony between candidates who feel dissatisfied with the primaries and parties. Yeah. So how will that happen?
They said the elections, when the election is between the time, let's start from there. Is that 3 months before the election?
The election, yes.
Now they will have submitted the names of the candidates
to INEC,
And apart from that, you will swear to an affidavit from the Federal High Court. They will have checked you, and they will have given you opportunity to see whether that person is credible truly and has given right information. So from that place, we can now begin to look at it. Okay, does he really have the results? Is he a graduate like he claimed? Because we've had issues whereby a candidate, that kind of stuff. So you look at it, you solve that problem before the time. Then when the elections are taking place, before the swearing ceremony, you look at it. The elections, the what do you call it? You go to the tribunal to find out whether this person has actually won. I think it addresses it a little bit, which is even good. 3 months, because we've had a man here who contested here in Oyo State here as a governor, whose party name was not on the ballot paper. And it was just because of all this problem. Eventually, he was pacified with a commissionership seat. So I think with this one now, 3 months before the elections, all names submitted, I think INEC should be able to give us something worthwhile.
Now INEC will have its financial independence with this act. 1 year, they should have all the money they will require. They will need for the election. 1 year to the election.
Yes.
Knowing the Nigerian factor, the Nigerian situation, don't you have a situation where they can ask for more?
Now,
haven't given them for 1 year. Yeah. So they can say when some variations occurred along the line.
Now, the issue there is whether they can ask for more. We look at the area of inflation.
If we are talking about inflation, why then give them the money for 1 year and not ask at when needed?
Yes, that's the issue. But they don't want the issue that happened in 2015 to occur again, when there was a delay in the fund or the budget given to the INEC. So they want it given ahead of time so that they can buy whatever things they need. The questions there is numerous. There are a lot of questions. Whether those sensitive material can now be stolen before the time. You get it, or be mastered before the time, because if you buy something within 6 months, Nigeria can actually give you a fake one. They can actually study and see the weak point of this, the weakness of the system. You get it. But on the other side, they did that to make sure that at least they will have everything ready, so that there will not be any delay or any problem before the election, which is good. So when we look at it from one side, let's look at it from the other side. Now, giving me money ahead of time will give me opportunity to prepare myself ahead of time, so that there will not be any problem at the polling units. The coalitions, I'll be able to pay the manpowers, I'll be able to do everything and make sure that we have each free election.
The act also talked about technology, that the use of that INEC can now deploy technology.
Yeah, I said it can now.
When you deploy technology, what are you actually doing? Is it for the conduct or transmission?
Transmission. These are dark areas. I said it the other time because they make mention of the smart card reader and other technology. Before now, the law says it was foreign to him.
Yes.
Now, the card reader is now included in the law.
Yes.
But the other technology, I don't know how they're going to reconcile that with law. Because at the end of the day, because as a lawyer will look for the weakness of the law to really suit himself.
The loophole there.
Loopholes there. Now, I don't know how they're going to do it, because they said they will use their discretion. Whether to use it. It does not actually say they must use it. The law does not, that particular act does not say they must use it. But it says they can use it and
subject to their discretion.
Yes. These are the issues that we need to look at. And the big ones are, the big one is that section 84 verse 12 that talks about the office holder, political
office of holders. Yes.
That they should,
and that's what the president is clamoring for, that should be expunged.
No, it cannot. Because even the Federal Court in Abuja has told them that, come, you cannot change, don't touch it. Well, the argument of the president will be actually that particular disenfranchise people from voting. But it does not disenfranchise, because The law that gives you right to association is the same law that tells you no, you can, when you associate, this particular kind of associations are not allowed. You know, self-defense is, you cannot kill people. For instance, the law says don't kill. But there's another law that talks about self-defense. You get it? Look at it from this perspective. The president say that law will stop people from voting, denying them the right to vote and be voted for. Because enfranchisement is about the right to vote and be voted for. Now, yes. Look at it. If you said that particular enfranchised people, look at the issue. If you are not yet 18, you cannot vote. So, it's simple. It's like saying that if you are underage, your right to vote or be voted for is denied to you. No. Now look at it. The law, that law does not say that they should not vote. It was only saying that for 30 days. 30 days to the time of that election or whatever. Just resign. Simple, in a layman's language. Resign. You must not be in that office. 30 days. If you want to vote or be voted for, just vacate that office 30 days to that place. It does not say you should not vote. What if you vacate? If you vacate the office for 30 days, you can vote and be voted for. Just like civil servant.
Yes.
Civil servant cannot be partisan.
Cannot be partisan, yes. So if you want to take part in partisan politics,
30 days before the resign. Are we now saying that denying them the right to vote and be voted for? They can vote, but they cannot be voted for as a civil servant. But here is saying, come, political office holder, what we are saying is this: for as long as you're in that office, stay there. You cannot vote and be voted for. But if you want to vote or be voted for, leave or vacate that office. It's very simple. It's not hard, but it's a big one.
The issue of party primaries is still contentious, direct or indirect.
Sir, that issue will continue like that for a long time. It will continue because it leaves them. It leaves the party to really decide which one they want to employ. I believe in a politically friendly atmosphere. Parties should decide whether we want to do direct
or indirect. It should not be legislated.
It should not be legislated. It should be something that the party should decide upon. I will tell you why. If you said that it should be indirect, look at it. Indirect, the money to pay delegates. We said we talked about 5 billion. 5 billion. The money to spend for the delegates will be so big. It's already big because we are parties that for a long time. We saw in a particular national convention of a particular party, they distributed $5,000 a candidate. Not to talk about other candidates. You get it. So that money, we've seen what the indirect primaries has done to us. But if you now said, okay, let's have
the
direct primaries, where every card carrying members of a particular party could be involved at the primaries, that money will be times, I don't know how many. Because you have
that it will be much more.
It will be
than
much
indirect primaries.
Yes, it will be much more than in the indirect primaries. And actually it will promote anarchy.
How?
Okay, let me give you an instance. In a particular local government in Oyo State here, when they were delegates went for the primaries as to choose, they wanted to choose the chairman of a local government. And a particular, they use a particular secondary school. If you see the anarchy, if you were there, you will see what went on. It was a shame. It was a total shame. I mean, show of shame, because they were beating themselves. A candidate was beaten to a coma and was rushed to the hospital. You understand? Because it was do or die affair. They were beating, macheting people. If you are a cool guy, if you are a gentleman, you cannot participate in such thing. And that was just delegates. If you now said every member, say in a particular ward, every member should come out, card carrying members of a particular party should come and vote for, you see killings, you see intimidations, you see a lot of things that will go wrong there. So I think the party should be left to make decision as to whether they want to have direct or indirect primaries. It should not be legislative.
But we have had it in the past.
Yes.
Option A4.
Yes. That one that you line up, queue,
yes.
They did it, incidentally, Lagos did something like that for this man here, the current president, governor of Lagos State, and the former one. Yes. But then it cannot always be, because it's intimidating. If you are my leader, and I don't want your candidate, but because of the relationship I have with you, I will be forced to queue up behind you. I'll be forced to queue up. That's not democracy. I don't really believe it. I should be free enough in a normal democratic setting. I should be free enough to choose.
To make my choice.
To make my choice. I should not be under intimidation. And that is democracy. Real democracy is right. The choice to choose whoever governs me. To make my choice. Use my ballot to decide who belongs my leader.
So you are saying, in essence, that this electoral act as signed by President Buhari is still work in progress?
Yes, very much. Work in progress.
We've not gotten there
yet? We've not gotten there.
So what areas will you now want an improvement on?
Now, that section 84, I want them to implement it. There are a lot of drama in that particular area.
Maybe that's why President Buhari says it should be expunged.
Yes. A lot of drama. What he says is that, look at it, as a sitting governor, I am the number one party. I'm the leader.
Yes, of the party.
Of the party in my state, and I decide. I have the party machinery
in my control.
I decide who are the delegates, because the executive automatically the delegates.
Yes.
And others like that.
All other political
appointees are delegates. Now, so what it gives me is that at the end of the day, it will be very rare for you to beat me to it at the polls, at the primaries, because all the guys there are my own. They are my loyalists. But what he's saying is that step down from that office. You know what that means? Because when you step down from that office, what you are actually saying is that you give everybody equal opportunities. And most of the time at the primaries, people will fight, people will kill, people will disrupt the
electoral
process are loyalists of the sitting governor or the sitting chairman or whatever. They are people who are very close to the man in power. They are obeying the
ballot snatchers, ballot box snatchers.
They are obeying their leaders. So if that man does not have that power at that particular time, a lot of things will now go
because of their meal ticket.
Yes, it will affect them, and it will be interesting to see. You know what you are saying? You are saying that if, say for instance, a governor of a state want to contest, go for the second term, 30 days from the something, is to step down. It becomes very interesting. The speaker will step down. That's what it means. All guys at the state assembly will step down. The commissioners step down. 30 days is going to be very interesting. I want to see how that one will
and how will the machinery of government work?
Yes, these are those things. And if the machinery of government, if the civil servants are made to really engineer or administer, to govern the state, as it were, at that particular time, you know what will happen? Those people will now smell something. They will know whether they are actually relevant or not in their state. Because what it means is that from where I am right now, you are the governor. And for that 30 days or whatever time, somebody is sitting there as the governor or leading the machinery of the state. What it means is that at that particular time, I'm just helpless like every other person. And everybody will take caution. But we don't know what that guy will do. Because whatever he does within that time frame is final. So it's very interesting. Now saying the president too will step down, that would be very interesting. You see, the PDP has gone to court right now and say, "Come, tell them not to stop it." We don't know. I mean.
So just again, it's season film.
Yes, season film. I just want to see how that war will play out, what will happen eventually, because it's going to be very interesting. Some will lose their seats and they will never come back again. I know that. I know of a particular governor. He lost at the the senatorial. He has completed his two
terms.
So at this particular juncture, he tried to come in as a senator. He lost it. But what he did was that, okay, because he lost at the senatorial, you know, you usually come a week before the gubernatorial. So he made sure he used all the state machinery to make sure that he install his loyalists as the governor of the state. But they use it to, these are the things they do. These are things they do. When they know that they are not, they use, the power is strong. Power of incumbent is very strong. These are the issues. But if you step down, leave that place, let somebody else get there. It gives them, every other person, level playing ground. So that when you are coming to vote, you're coming to vote like ex-president, you know, you don't have the machinery at hand. So that when the person sitting down want to say, okay, this is the winner, you get it. It's going to be very interesting. I want to see how that will play out in the couple of months from here.
Well, we've been looking at the newly signed Electoral Act by President Muhammadu Buhari, which he did on the 25th of February 2022. And we've tried to look at some of the gray areas, according to our analyst, Mr. Seun Akande. There are many gray areas in the new Electoral Act. And hopefully, we'll get it right. We'll see how we can actually stem the tide of future elections. Another election is just around the corner. Maybe Osun Ekiti will be the testing blocks, and we'll see before the main election in 2023. But before then, if you want to be a governor, if you want to be the president of this country, you've just been told that 5 billion naira is not enough. So, and if you want to be governor of any of the states, 1 billion naira may not be enough to do the campaign and to do stuff. Start thinking. Start thinking about what you want to do, how you want to play the game, and how you think the game will be. Mr. Seun Akande, I want to thank you for coming onto the program this evening. And your parting shot.
Well, I just want us to believe that this Electoral Act 2022 is an improvement of the previous one. We are not yet there right now. It's still a project in progress. So let's agree with what is happening right now. And then the next time, let's make it better.
Okay.
Let's make it better. So let's accept this Electoral Act and work with it for a while. Then after some time, we'll improve on it.
Okay.
It's still a work in progress.
Okay. Once again, Mr. Seun Akande, thank you for coming. My name is Femi Makpadirun, and I wish you a pleasant evening. See you next week.